The grand ballroom shimmered under golden chandeliers, the air thick with perfume, laughter, and the sound of clinking glasses. The groom stood tall in his immaculate tuxedo, his arm linked with his wealthy bride-to-be, his eyes scanning the doorway for the moment he had been waiting for. Tonight wasn't just about love, it was about revenge. He had sent that invitation not out of courtesy, but cruelty. He wanted his ex-wife to see the life she missed out on, to stand small and ashamed among the glittering elite, to witness him marrying a woman of wealth and status. What he didn't know was that fate had prepared a twist more dramatic than he could have ever imagined. Before we dive deeper into this powerful and emotional story, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the beauty of true love, please take a moment to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us bring more stories like this to life. The story began years before this night of gold and crystal. Once, the groom, Adam, was a struggling man, building dreams brick by brick. His ex-wife, Layla, had been there for him in those days of broken paychecks, second-hand furniture, and dinners of instant noodles. She had been his anchor, his cheerleader, and the mother of his children. But the world saw none of that. They only saw the glamorous present, his shiny watch, expensive suit, and the wealthy woman beside him. What no one knew was how he had once abandoned the very woman who helped him build the foundation of his success. Layla had been left behind, with nothing but heartbreak, and the 3 children she carried, their triplets. Adam had walked away when she needed him most, chasing wealth and social climbing, dismissing her as a baggage that would hold him down. The gossip among the wealthy guests tonight was cruel. They whispered about how pitiful she must look now, a single mother struggling in the shadows, daring to attend his glittering wedding. Adam was convinced she would walk through those doors in some faded dress, desperate to prove she was still relevant. But when the grand doors swung open, silence fell. Every head turned, and the sound of laughter died mid-air. A sleek, black limousine had just pulled up outside, its presence commanding the kind of respect usually reserved for royalty. From it stepped Layla, her figure graceful and radiant, draped in a gown that shimmered like moonlight. But it wasn't just her entrance that silenced the room. It was the 3 children walking beside her, identical triplets, dressed in fine-tailored suits and delicate gowns, each bearing the striking features of the groom himself. The whispers began to ripple through the hall like wildfire. Gasps filled the room, eyes darted between Adam and the children, and the bride's face stiffened with unease. Layla walked with quiet dignity, her children holding her hands, their heads high. She wasn't here to beg, nor to shrink under the glitter of chandeliers. She was here to remind him, and the world, of truths that could never be erased or denied. Adam's smile faltered, his confidence cracking like fragile glass. For the first time that evening, he felt small under the weight of the stairs. He had thought she would arrive broken, a shadow of her former self. Instead, she stood glowing with strength, her children a living testament to the love and loyalty he had thrown away. The bride tried to laugh it off, squeezing Adam's hand as if to reassure herself that her place was secure. But inside, jealousy and doubt gnawed at her. The guests began to murmur louder, some even pitying Layla, not for her struggles but for the betrayal she had endured. And now, they looked at Adam differently. Not as the charming, successful man marrying into wealth, but as the husband who had abandoned the very woman who once carried him when he was nothing. Layla, however, did not gloat. First time, he saw the ugliness of his choices, the shallow hunger for wealth, the cruelty of abandoning the woman who had given him everything. Layla sat quietly, her heart aching yet steady. She had not come for revenge. She had not come to ruin his wedding. She had come to show her children the truth, that they had nothing to be ashamed of, that their mother's strength and dignity were brighter than the chandeliers above them. As the ceremony reached its climax, Adam's voice cracked, his words faltered. He looked at Layla again, at the children, and suddenly the crowd's whispers became deafening in his mind. The shame he had intended for her had turned into a mirror reflecting back onto him. The moment was unbearable. His bride's hand grew cold in his, her eyes narrowing with suspicion. The priest repeated his question. "Do you take this woman?" But Adam couldn't answer. His silence filled the hall with tension. The weight of his past, his mistakes, and his betrayal bore down on him like chains. He realized then that he could marry wealth, but he could never escape the truth of who he was, nor erase the woman and children he had abandoned. Layla stood quietly and, with the grace of a queen, gathered her children. She did not cause a scene. She did not demand anything. She simply left as silently as she had entered, her limo waiting outside to carry her and her triplets away. But her departure was more powerful than any outburst could have been. She had left him with his shame, and she had shown the world her strength. As the doors closed behind her, Adam's heart twisted. He realized too late that the love he had once taken for granted was the only thing that had ever been real. He had sought to humiliate her, but instead, he had exposed himself. The guests no longer looked at him with admiration. They saw him for what he was, a man who traded love for greed and lost everything that truly mattered. And Layla? She drove away with her children, her head high, her heart heavy but free. She knew now that she didn't need him, nor the validation of those who had once looked down on her. She had something greater, the strength to rise, the love of her children, and the dignity of never letting bitterness destroy her. Her story became a quiet legend in the community, a reminder that true worth isn't measured by wealth or status, but by resilience, love, and grace. And though Adam would live with the regret of his choices, Layla and her children moved forward, building a life defined not by what they lost, but by the power they carried within. If this story touched your heart, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us bring more emotional, real, and inspiring stories to life, and we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below.